Hello, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for coming. You are here, and guess what? It is interview you stories. Yes, the original. And tonight we have Kay from Happy Trails Hiking. We've got a lot of things to announce. Actually, not a lot of things. There's some really cool things to announce. And then we're going to get into the interview and the discussion. For anybody that is new to this, let me tell you, everybody here, please feel free to chat with each other in the chat. Viewers and creators, make friends with each other, get to know each other. I always encourage that on my channel. You know, chat, ask questions. You hear a story. The story behind you stories is me wanting to hear other people's stories and how stories connect people. So if you hear something that reminds you of something, feel free to say it. That would be fantastic. I'm going to say, chat a little bit. It's going to be a lot of fun. And our guest tonight, I am very excited. She has so much more to talk about than hiking. Not that hiking isn't enough, and wellness and so on and so forth. A lot of things to talk about there, but beyond there, really interesting. I always do a pre-interview with the show, and I'm excited. So, few things. I want to say hello, and then I'll make the announcements, and we'll get going. Variety Girl, wonderful. Thank you for coming. And let's see, Food Formist, a permaculture, wonderful. I love that name. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Simply Shannon Miller, Yankee Outdoor Adventure. Yep, it is starting. We are live, Variety Girl. We are rolling. So welcome, 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 everybody. Thank you so much. If you could tweet this out, that would be wonderful. The more, the better. And like I said, make friends with each other. And if you see a channel that doesn't have any content, that's called a viewer. We love those. That's who I was until February 7th. I was going to say just a viewer, but then I was going, no, not just a viewer. We like those. So yeah, those aren't necessarily trolls. Those are just people who like to watch, which was me. I put up private videos and stuff for my family, but didn't turn into a creator. So, hey, Jem, what is up? How are you, lovely? So I didn't get to answer you on Hangouts. I saw it though. Gilbert Rod, wonderful to have you. Fantastic. So two big things, and then we're going to jump in. On Monday, it is yet another episode, You Story, Beauty and the Bees, which is the new all about makeup show. And that is for everybody who loves makeup. You don't have to have a makeup or beauty channel, none of that. We have one or two guests, and we chat, bring your favorite things. It's fun, talk about new trends. And hey, I learn things all the time. It's really fun. Oh, Jim, I just finished an interview with ThinkShare on my channel. Awesome. That is fantastic. Oh, Panic D, how are you? That is a future guest that will be coming up. Last Grown Up in the Woods. Oh, I love that. Last Grown Up in the Woods. Jules, hey, how are you, Julie? She was our makeup guest last time on Labor Day. And this week we have Mama Styles as on Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern, GMT -4. That is New York City time. The Mama Styles is the guest, and she is transitioning into co-host as well. We had some scheduling issues, and Mama Styles said, hey, I'd like to do it. So that's fantastic. The other thing is really important. I just want to announce it quickly. Hey, Kimberly, fantastic. Kimberly be coming in soon as a guest on Beauty and the Bee. And Angel, one of my mods, and my guest co-host for most of the special editions. So fantastic. Love you. Rachel, wonderful. Okay. So next Wednesday, we have something very special and very important. I'm going to get serious on you for a minute. David Build Vlogs is having a very trying time right now. That's putting it mildly. He's going to be on next week. Him and his wife have just had the joy of having a baby coming to the world. So that's wonderful. Unfortunately, She has a condition, AFE, amniotic fluid embolism, and she has been on life support for the past 8 or 9 days. And he wanted to bring awareness about this condition because it's about 1 in 40,000. Many physicians don't even know it exists, and he wanted to put it out there. She has recently been a bit responsive, not speaking, but it is a long road ahead of her, and they still need all the hopes, prayers, positive energy sent towards them. And he is going to be on talking about this next Wednesday. He really wanted to bring awareness to other women. As he said on his live stream, he said, wow, I was already amazed how much women go through, you know, having a baby. And he's like, and then on top of this, and I said, hey, us ladies are resilient. We got it. So it would be wonderful. Down in the description box is my guest, Kay's information. So definitely check her out. And well, actually, Valley Girl, we do have a donation. That's the next thing I was going to say. Down in the description box, there is a GoFundMe that he created. The doctors told him to create this to help with the bills. He can't go to work right now. And if everything goes as we would hope, she has a long recovery road ahead. So down in the description box, there is a GoFundMe link in the schedule under David Build Vlogs. He'll be on next week, but I'm starting to promote it now. So please, if you can donate, if you can't financially hack it, come to the show, please, next week, 7 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday, the 19th, and send as much positive love and energy that you can. Yes, thank you, Jules. Thank you for everyone. Prayers going out. Yeah, as much support as we can get him next week. Really important. You know, he's doing this on his own. The children don't know, and she hasn't met the baby yet. So, you know, it's just really, you know, this is the time to put your hand out and, you know, help your fellow friend. Even if you don't know him, help your fellow human, you know, man. Okay, and on that note, oh, Broke Necks is in the house. Woohoo! You always get a woohoo, Broke Necks. You know I love you. Okay, and rolling along, don't forget on the 24th is another adult edition because you guys asked for it, and it's a costume party because on the next Wednesday, I won't be here. That's one of my favorite holidays. I'll be busy making people into other creatures all day, and I'm not coming on YouTube that day. Okay. Oh, the link for GoFundMe did not work. Okay, if you go to David Build Vlogs, the very first live stream recently, the one where he just starts to tell about it, there is a link in there. I don't know. I'm going to have to ask him. But yeah, if his channel is linked there too. And the very first one where he first starts talking about this, that's where the link is. So you can contact him that way and find out, and I will get it fixed as quickly as possible. Thank you so much, Righty Girl 1, for telling me. Now, there we go. Okay, that wasn't too bad. 9 minutes for all. I was talking as fast as I could. Now, voila. Let me happily introduce a very interesting lady from Happy Trails Hiking. Hello, Kay.
Hello, everyone. Wow, this is an awesome chat tonight. Thank you, everybody, for coming. And thanks for having me. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up for our lovely host.
Thank you so much. Wow, I pre-interview everybody, and we're going to talk about Kay and her husband's hiking. This is fascinating. They've been together, was it 25 years?
Yeah.
Yeah. What did you say? More than half of your lives, which is incredible. And we're going to talk about how they started hiking. But guess what? There's that, the national parks, all kinds of things. Guess what? Kay was also a teacher for, was it 17 years?
Yes, ma'am.
Wow.
Yep,
that
music and fine arts, and loved my kids, and they're awesome. And Matt's a musician as well, and we share that in common.
That is really, really cool. I want to jump into that a little bit first, and then we're going to get into the hiking. And she also has, you guys don't want to miss it, on her channel, which is linked below in the description box, Monday through Friday at 10 p.m. Central.
10 a.m. 10 a.m.
Oh, I'm sorry, 10 a.m. I'm thinking morning, I'm saying night. I think it's the 7 p.m. I'm always saying 7 p.m. for me. Sorry about that. 10 a.m. Central. They do their health and we're in a support group. And it's really great. We're going to get into that too. Oh, Panic D, woohoo, teachers rock. And that's what we're going to hit first, because I am fascinated by anybody who's a teacher, because she did high school most recently, and she's done pre-K through 12, which that is, I've only taught at the college level, and that was enough. And those people paid to be there. So, you know, it could be interesting. So, okay, the first thing I want to ask you is, how did you, let's step back further. How did you originally get into fine arts and music and drama?
Well, I started singing in our church children's choir when I was 3. And I followed my older sister to choir, and we got started there. And then when I was in 5th grade, they started a band, or that's when you could start band at our school. And so I knew that I wanted to be in the band because I'd watched.
Wait, 5th grade?
5th grade.
Yeah,
yes.
That's when I started too. That's when awesome. It was cool. Awesome. Go ahead.
And so I went to the little meeting where you get to try all the instruments out. And yeah, I said, I want to play the trombone. And one of the guys behind the counter said, you can't play the trombone. You're like 4'3". It's as big as you are. And I went, watch me. And
nice.
So I've played the trombone ever since. Being a teacher, I didn't get to play very often, but I enjoyed watching my kids get to learn to play. And so I've been in bands and choirs since I was, little bitty.
Wow, that's really cool. Oh, best friend, hello, how are you? Valley Girl was in choir in middle school. Angel is saying hi. Everybody's saying teachers rock. Yeah, they do.
Teachers do rock.
They do.
They're the best.
How did you decide that you wanted to teach it?
Sure. My father was a teacher for 42 years.
Whoa.
And yeah, so I've been around teachers and educators all my life. And
yeah, so myself as well. Yeah, go ahead.
I just didn't know. I knew that I wasn't going to be a trombone performance person. I just, when I knew that I was not a performer, but I loved watching other people perform and teaching them to be performers. And I just knew that I wanted to impart whatever knowledge I had and to guide people to learn things. And I've always been that way. I've always wanted to teach lots of things, but yeah, music just came easily to me.
Yeah, I understand. I really enjoy teaching myself. I used to teach and assist my French teacher in college, and then I also used to tutor statistics, chemistry, biology, and French. And there's something really cool about it. And then just teaching like random things, like people that ride motorcycles, and I don't know, it's just fun to teach people. Wait, I just saw something go by.
Angel's putting that GoFundMe in there. Thank you, Angel, for doing that.
Thank you so much, Angel. That's wonderful. Last Grown Up in the Woods says, I'm a teacher. Awesome. Yes. What kind of teacher are you, Last Grown Up in the Woods?
That's Carly, by the way, if you want to call.
Carly. Awesome. Yeah. Hi, Carly. Hey, Pauline. Newman, how are you?
Thank you for coming. I really, really appreciate it. It is so awesome to see all of my outdoor peeps coming over and coming and visiting with us tonight. So that's amazing that everybody's here.
Fantastic. Yes. And intermix with each other, make friends.
Right. Meet some new folks.
Love it. So, oh my goodness. So when I was in band, we ended up participating in some of the state competitions. I was in concert band, symphonic band, and jazz band. Did you guys do anything like that? Participate in any of the competitions or anything like that?
As a student, yes. And as a teacher, yes. I did marching band when I was in high school. We lived in Tennessee, and in Tennessee,
potholes are great for that.
Oh, stories. Okay. So we did football marching, and we had, in Tennessee, football marching band is a sport. Basically, football happens on, either side of the band performance. So it was a big deal, and we'd go every Saturday to marching competitions and things like that. We also did concert band competitions, and I would do some solo competitions, and I medaled every year at the solo competitions, which I'm very proud of, because I worked so hard at it. It's not that I was the best, but I worked really hard, and I was really proud of the things that I was putting out.
Well, yeah, you should be. It's a lot of work. I've done it myself. The school that I went to when we were competing, the most was, it was almost like a private school because it was a small affluent area, and they were able to run it almost like and we had 40 kids in the 8th grade in my junior high, and it was K through 8th. So when we were competing, we would go into the competition rooms, and they would be set up for these massive schools. And here comes our little band with our blue blazers. And
I
we
know.
sit down.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And, oh, you had it. You know, there's all these chairs left, and you're going, okay.
Right. We're here in our little section. I understand completely.
That's awesome. Oh, we've got some questions, but yeah, we managed to hit it. First place regional and first place state. Was it Angel the Great was talking about how she has teachers in the family, and Ammo, how are you? I love you, Ammo. You're awesome. Panic D Video says, did she march with the trombone? If so, that is awesome.
I did. I marched from 7th grade through 12th grade with the trombone. And it was very fun. It was always an interesting time. Hey, you'd listen to the judges' comments from the, press box or whatever, and they'd say, the little trombone is out of step. I'm like, okay, great. Thanks. So the last Grown Up in the Woods did answer your question. She was teaching elementary nature study and French, but she just moved to a new system, so she's subbing now.
Yeah, so. Yeah, I saw that. It was, and yes, always feel free to go to anything in the chat. So I heard you say something. You got stories about potholes. Did you have something particular? Because I did some marching, and it was funny. On Memorial Day, it seemed always to rain. And I know about being in step and that funny skip step you do to get back on time. Yep. What happened with the potholes?
Well, we marched in the Strawberry Festival in Humboldt, Tennessee every year. And so I was the front right guide, because you put the trombones in the front so they can't nail people in the back of the head or anything else.
It's pretty easy to, you could knock someone out.
Right, you got to be able to move. Anyway, so I was front right guide, and I ended up in a very long pothole, and the band got out of whack because they couldn't see me because I was so short anyway. So I just ended up in this pot. I mean, I don't know what it was. Maybe it was just a big old rut, but it was pretty funny. It was pretty funny.
That is. I've stepped in one, and trying to keep yourself upright and still going. Yeah. And you not throw it completely. Yeah, it's something else.
Sorry, I was thinking of my trombone mouthpiece getting knocked into my front teeth. It's awful. Anyway, just because it's just awful. Stepping in potholes, when you're marching and the football team has been out there with their cleats and dug up the fields. Yeah, that's really fun too.
Oh, that's even better. So it's nice and aerated and muddy.
Aerated. We'll go with aerated. Good word there.
Yeah, I had a clarinet, so I had that into the roof of the mouth a couple times.
Yeah.
And yes, thank you so much, Angel. Yeah, tweeted out everything else. More people. That's fantastic. So did you ever do, I know you said that you different kinds of bands and stuff like that. I know you did marching bands on. Did you ever do any what else did you play other than the trombone? Did you do any rock bands or anything like that?
I don't. Basically I'm a trombonist, a brass player. I've played baritone, trumpet. I can play all of the wind instruments and some percussion. Nice. Just because I had to be able to teach it. You have to take those elementary methods classes in college. And so you learn to do that. I did take a flag class. So I learned to twirl a flag so that I could teach the flag corps to do things. And then I ended up at a high school that didn't have a marching band. So that was okay with me though, because I would much rather focus on sitting and making the music beautiful. And really, we talked about telling our story through music.
Yes, yes. Please go ahead.
No, that was our motto. I don't have my sweatshirt right here. Usually I have my sweatshirt on the back of my chair, but it says that we are telling stories and changing lives through music. That was our motto at my high school. And
That is
so I've
awesome.
kind of tried to bring that over to our channel as I've been here. So telling stories and changing lives here on YouTube. So
Yeah, and well, that I know all about that. You know, being a
yeah.
musician myself, and then obviously for my youth stories, connecting people through stories. So yeah, it's a it's a similar theme that what was it? Oh, okay. Angel wants to know. Oh, Angel. Oh, okay, she's asking Angel if she was a cheerleader. Okay, I see it. Um, I was not.
Food Forest Permaculture, thank you for coming.
Yes, I was going to say thank you for coming so much. And Last Grown Up in the Woods says, nice motto, love it.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I do too. Yeah, Jules, it really is awesome. I think that's very cool. You said you were also in fine arts and drama.
Yeah.
So how did that be? I love drama. I think it's so much fun. I wish there was a community theater here when I first moved into this town. Sadly, it disappeared, and the next closest one is about half an hour away. But it's so much fun to get to act. How did you get into that?
Well, we had a thespian club when I was in high school, and so kind of got involved with that. And well, up in Iowa. So I grew up in Iowa till I was 12, and up there they had a good musical and a play every year, and so we would get to go over and see the musicals and all that stuff. And so I grew up just loving that fine arts. Even in small town Iowa, you can put on a good show,
Yeah.
And so by the time I got to college, I decided that I would try out for the play. And I was a music major. I needed things to do in the evening. I didn't do sororities, things
Yeah,
like that.
I wasn't into sororities and fraternities
I think
myself.
that it's a good thing for some people. It just wasn't for me. So
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not against it, but it really wasn't my thing. And
sure.
I don't know, the whole idea of coming and then the pledging and whatnot, if it's for you, that's great. But one of my girlfriends says, I'm not going and begging for friends. And I'm like, that is a different way to put it. But I was like, yeah, it's just, I don't know. I know they're not supposed to haze, but when I was there, they were. So
well, Matt is in a fraternity, and it was a wonderful thing for him, and I will support
fantastic.
it till the ends of the earth. And every one of my students that would say, I'm thinking about joining a sorority, I'd say, go try it, see. I'm not a part of one, but doesn't mean you shouldn't be. But anyway, so in college,
if you find a good one, they're great.
Oh,
that's
yeah. And there are lots of great ones out there.
Oh,
there really
absolutely.
Are. Just like any group, there are lots of great, whatever.
Yeah, the ones that I came along to, I was like, ooh, not for me. Hey, Sarah May, wonderful. Last Grown Up in the Woods says, sororities and frats are like aliens to me. I'm happy it's not really a thing in Canada.
Okay.
Like that. That's interesting.
That's
yeah, it really do. I think it depends on the school that you go to and the ones that you have there. I know there's absolutely phenomenal ones. The idea is fantastic as long as it's executed well, then it's wonderful.
I agree. Just like
variety,
any club.
Yeah, Variety Girl says, I prefer dorm life to what I saw across the street and heard about the frats and sororities, but I did not really try it fully. I recommend living on campus, not commuting, though. I had to say, and Last Grown Up in the Woods says, I only know about them what I see in movies.
What you see in movies is not true.
Yeah, I chose to commute in college because my parents gave me a choice. They said, you can either live on campus or you can stay home and we will get you a car. And I said, oh, let's see. I have a bedroom, my own office, my own bathroom, and my mom cooking dinner every night. Or I can go in a cinder block box and eat in the dining hall. And I said, no, thank you. I can come visit. And I had a friend there. So I chose to commute and I loved it. I got to have the best of both worlds. But, it's different for everyone. And on this channel, like I said to Kate beforehand, I encourage everyone to speak freely as long as it's, respectful. I'm cool. Angel Muniz says, Lady Borgia, good evening. It's your email from last week. Wonderful. I look forward to talking to you, Angel. That is fantastic. And S2W Things, thank you so much. We were talking about you earlier.
Yeah, your ears burning? Just wondering.
Yeah. So anyway, getting back words to drama and everything else, I know into your story, but that does happen.
No, that's fine.
Go ahead.
So for the drama stuff, we are theater in college, did 4 plays a year, or 3 plays and a musical a year. So we'd do 2 plays in the fall semester, a musical, and then 1 play in the spring semester.
Right.
So the first play that we did was A Piece of My Heart when I was a freshman. If you know anything about A Piece of My Heart, it has 6 women and 1 man, and it's about the nurses in the Vietnam era. And so it was a
interesting.
Well, I went from high school where we did happy drama, comedy, yay. And the worst thing we did was, the hardest topic we had was Helen Keller and The Miracle Worker. There we go. And so I got into this theater, and all of a sudden I was saying curse words to audition for plays. And I was like, oh, wow, this is just a really weird world. I did not get a part because I was a freshman who had never said a curse word in front of people before in my life. Just in front of people that I didn't know. So yeah, it was a weird scenario. But as a freshman, and of course there were juniors and seniors that were way better than I was. But my theater professor, Doc, Florence Dyer, Dr. Dyer, love you, Doc, if you're watching. Anyway, she said, Kay, I have watched you, and I think that you would be a great organizer for us. Would you mind doing all of our backstage managing? And cool. I went, yes, that would be great. I would love to do that.
Enzo knows all kinds of stuff about that. Like I see, he just got a certification. Oh, Sarah May jumped in and said, in the UK, we have college from age 16 to 18. There's no sororities. People just dorm if their homes are too far away. Sarah May, that's something interesting. I'm not going to go too far on it because, but I really think that college should start sooner in the US. And I don't know what you feel about it, Kay, but sometimes it seems almost like high school is getting repetitive, and maybe 16 would be a nice time to be able to start. What do you think on that, Kay?
Well, I think it depends on the student. Very true. And depends on the parents.
True.
I love parents, and I'm not a parent, so I will not be judgmental about parenting at all. However, there are some parents who would not be ready for their 16-year-old to start making decisions about their life at 16,
True.
And many of these students, the way we have set up our educational system, many students I don't think would be ready to go off and make those college age decisions about what they're going to learn, what I want to learn and what I want to do. Now some would, and I have some students that I would be like, yeah, go to college. You need to leave. You need to leave high school. You're ready.
Yeah, I was one of those.
But I was not. I was barely ready to walk out of the high school when I left. but so yeah, it's a tough one.
Yeah, best friend says that I agree, Lady Borgia. I would have loved to go at 18. Valley Girl, definitely depends on the students if they can afford college, because otherwise you're taking away 2 years of public school. Depending if you went to public school or not. True. On the other hand, some 18-year-olds aren't ready. I was ready to choose, best friend says. Yeah, well, there's also a thing. I was ready personally because it seems in the education, the public, I wasn't supposed to go to public school. I was supposed to go to private. I was supposed to go to
Joko, I would appreciate it if you wouldn't make any more comments about me. My husband wouldn't like that.
Oh dear. Did we have somebody go through? Okay. Yeah, that's inappropriate.
I'd appreciate it. I appreciate the compliment. There's a different way to say that would make me feel more comfortable. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, Kay, for catching that. It was a little, no, absolutely. Like I said, please speak up on my channel. I encourage it, and if you have something to say, absolutely say it. My people who are regulars, they're very used to that, and absolutely. Best friend, I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up. That's okay. You can be lots of things. I always am finding new things. I've never stopped and said, okay, I'm this. There's always more things to be and interest. This is what I found very interesting about Kay. The thing about the education system, at least the public school education, that was irritating to me, because I was supposed to go to Choate and Rosemary Hall, and I fought it. no, I don't want to go. I don't want to go to boarding school. I mean, it's a wonderful school. I was being rebellious and should have gone. But there's a lot of hand holding in schools, and such as,
Gotcha.
writing a paper in English used to drive me nuts. They wanted you to write it out their way, and I was already used to doing my writing. So I can see where some of the students that are used to having a lot more guidance, and then you're thrown into college where, here's the syllabus, go,
Hmm.
it might not work out for. But I'm starting to see some of them pull them out, and some of them test out and start at a community college. So there always is an option. Sarah May says the education system is completely different in the UK. It's hard to get into via messages. Yeah, absolutely. I would
Oh
imagine
yeah.
it would be. Yeah, it's S2WZ. It's talking about college. I'm back to school. And last growing up in the woods, when I grow up, I want to go in
Be in
the
the woods.
woods.
Me too. We'll go to the woods together, Carly. It'll be
I love
great.
the woods. As much as I love Fifth Avenue and Santa Barbara, I love the woods too. We go to a cabin every year, and I'm the fire starter and the one that cooks on the fire. It does not
Nice.
matter if it's raining. It doesn't matter. I have a thing about it. I won't use lighter fluid. I'm like, it's cheating. I do use,
Oh,
kindling and stuff like that. I don't know why. It turned into a thing, and it's a cute little one-room cabin, very simple, and you get to go back to nature and stuff like that. And it's a lot of fun. Oh, good. You were checking out each other's channels. That makes me very happy.
yay.
Wonderful. Good. Make
There
friends.
are some great, great, great creators in this chat
Yeah.
tonight. So
And
that's awesome.
I'm definitely going to be going back when I get a chance. And this will be available for the replay. And I forgot to say at the beginning, for anybody watching on the replay, thank you so much. I have quite a few people that come back and watch, and I really appreciate it. And I will be going through and checking out your channels when I get a chance, probably tomorrow morning over coffee. So that will be fun. Ammo likes the woods, and Jules wants to go get a cabin. I would love to have a cabin in Vermont. I would kill for that. It doesn't need to be fancy. I just like having a bathroom. I
Yeah,
just need the
I understand
walls.
that too. I
Yep.
understand.
And a bed, because with my arthritis, it doesn't have to be a fancy bed, but sleeping on the ground is a little much with, head to toe RA. Little bit
Yeah.
much.
Yeah, we even when we camped this summer, we did 8 nights of camping, and we have an airbed that is like
Yeah.
2 feet off the ground. It's really pretty good. So
I made that mistake before it was like this. We went up to well, if you guys used to ride Americade in upstate New York,
okay.
which for anybody who doesn't know, it's a motorcycle rally, but it's a very family friendly, toned down motorcycle rally, as opposed to some other ones that can get a little bit wild.
Wow.
And it's a
Okay.
beautiful place. It's near Lake George to ride. Gorgeous rides and tour rides and stuff like that. The first night, we went up with another couple and their child. We tried, oh, we'll be fine. They brought air mattresses. We'll be fine. We'll just throw our sleeping bags down. Yeah, that was miserable. And my
Yeah.
boyfriend at the time, we've been together quite a while. He was like 6'2", so we had to buy the extra long sleeping bags to zip together. And we're trying to half lie on each other for comfort. I don't know what that ground was made out of, but oh my gosh. Staying in the cabin reminds me of a horror movie about to happen. Yeah, I haven't seen that, Sarah May. I've not seen that horror movie, but I will have to check it out with Halloween coming. I love scary things. I used to write horror, not gory, but scary. I'm not too much into the
Yeah.
gore.
Yeah, I don't
It's
do horror movies.
Oh, best friend says that's what Teddy is for. Oh, that's awesome. No, and I have not seen The Nun. You guys are hysterical. I love
That's
you.
funny.
Oh gosh, in The Ring. I did see that in the theater. That is a weird movie. Anyway, going back, and we're going to talk more about camping and whatnot and hiking and everything
Sure.
else like that. But I did want to go back to your theater, and
Sure.
the first time you cussed in a
Yeah.
that's an interesting story.
Well, it was just I don't know. I was reading the script because, of
Right.
course, we're auditioning. It was cold readings, and so yeah, I'd get to the words and I'd go shh. Yeah, and it just to have me, it did not roll off my tongue correctly. And so Doc was like, you know what? You'll be better backstage. And then I worked as the assistant stage manager, then the stage manager, and then the assistant director. All 4 years I was in college and was finally helping with auditions and running full shows by the time I was a senior. So it was a really, really awesome experience. And by the time I was a sophomore, my earbuds fell out. Sorry about that. By the time I was a sophomore, I changed from a music major and education minor to a theater minor and music minor. So
that is really cool. Hey, Patsy, welcome. And yes, Neil, I miss you guys too. I did make it this Saturday. Didn't I make it? I think so. I know I was gone for a while, but I love you guys. I love you all. I love everyone. H.L. the Great says, Lady Borgia, don't waste your time watching it. Thank you, H.L. I won't bother then. One second, guys. I'm sorry. You know, I have, if anybody who's new, I have a problem with my tonsils due to my autoimmune diseases. So I need a little drink and some Chloraseptic every once in a while.
Hi, Halos and Heathens, by the way. It's good to see you.
Okay. And Mama Styles, which we mentioned earlier, who's going to be the guest on Monday and the co-host. Anyway, so moving on. That's really funny. That's very interesting, and getting to go and organize them and do all that. I would love that.
I loved all the backstage stuff way more than being on stage. I was on stage a couple of times and I just felt like a disaster. So yeah, no, being backstage was always awesome.
Well, you sound like S2W Themes, Enzo. Like I said, that's what you just got a certification for. A bunch of certifications leading up to, and we're going to be doing a big thing together that I think you would really enjoy. I'm going to have to talk to him and maybe talk to you about it. I'm not going to say it because it's a big secret that we've been working on for a while.
We'll discuss it later. That's
fine. Yeah, exactly. Sarah May says, I love being on stage. I just really enjoy acting. I do too. I like the backstage stuff though too. And I used to, one of my favorite things when I was a kid, because I love to write stories since I was little, I learned to read and write at 3 because I used to make up stories and I would draw out all the illustrations, but I didn't know how to put the words in. So I remember being really little, going up to my dad and, here, Dad, can you hold the pen and write in the words on the page? And it just irritated me that I couldn't do it myself. So at about 3, my mother says, I absolutely insisted. I am learning to read and write now. That's okay, Halos and Heathens. That's okay if you can't stay. You'll come back again. We know you rock. I love that. Valley Girl, I enjoy doing spoken word poetry. Oh, your high school slam team. That's interesting. I don't think my high school had one of those. I would love to hear about that sometime.
Slam teams are fun. They're really interesting. I don't know a whole lot about them. So yeah, okay, I probably shouldn't speak to them.
Because I've heard of them and I get the gist of it.
Yeah, we never had one, so I don't.
Neither did we.
Anyway,
let's see. Oh, H.L. the Great, Sierra, I don't have the brains for that, so good luck. Oh my goodness, I'm gonna have to look into that. And anybody who does know about it or has got good stories about it, contact me and have you on. You can tell us about slam teams and stuff like that. That would be interesting. I'm interested in everything. So it would actually be interesting to have you and S2W Themes on sometime talking about backstage and whatnot, because that's what he does. So that would be really cool. But anyway, moving along, what was your absolute favorite play that you did?
I think my favorite play was Woman in Black. I was the assistant director for Woman in Black, you know, the movie that had Harry Potter in it. Anyway, and so for me not liking spooky things, we made it really spooky, and I got to help do the makeup for the Woman in Black and do her creepy hands and it was a phenomenally written play. It was
wow.
I also got to work with 3 fabulous actors, and they're all 3 of the actors that were in that, I believe, are doing acting out in the world. And Andy Brown is in Chicago, so shout out to Andy Brown. And I believe that Scott is still in Tennessee, but working in local theaters and things. So it's just, it was amazing. It was a really, that was one of those cast and crew shows that it was just, you just really got to work and you got to make things happen. And it was just like,
wow,
oh, when you're finished, you know, and you just looked at it and went, yeah, we did that. And that was spooky and crazy and wonderful. And it was one of those shows that made you feel something. And
yes. That, go ahead, because I have something to say about that.
It wasn't just a happy, yay, we're done and standing ovation. It was one of those shows that you get done and the lights go down and the audience is going, holy crap, what just happened? You know, they're just staring at the stage, the dark theater, and you bring up the lights and they're like, what, really? Okay. And that was amazing. So yeah,
that is truly amazing. That reminds me, we were actually having a conversation about that the other day with my family. Yeah, HL, I would love to be able to do theatrical makeup. It is so much fun. I can show you some of it. What I just had to ask really quickly, and then I want to talk about briefly about that, you know, evoking feeling in people, which stories are supposed to, you know, and what kind did you use? The traditional cream and grease paints? The makeup geek in me, you know, what types of stuff did you use?
Yes, we used the traditional cream and we used a veil for that one. So her face was mostly veiled, but we did use the tissue paper and the whole tissue paper and glue. It was awful. It was pasty grossness. And yeah, so she was, her hands had to be, I mean, she was in a, one of those shirts comes up to here. Anyway, but her neck all had to be made up. Her hands all had to be made up. It was just, oh my gosh, it was amazing. Just, and the lighting in that show and the sound effects. I mean, the sound effects of I don't know how many of you know the story about this, but basically it's a carriage. The story is the woman in black was killed as she was headed across the marsh or the moors in London, in England, not in London, but in England. And she was killed, and it was from a carriage crash. And so you have to have the sounds of horses. You have to have the sounds of carriage. You have to have the sound of women screaming. You have to have sound of baby crying. You have to have a sound of a rocking chair. It's just, and it all has to happen within seconds, nanoseconds of each other. And the cues I was calling for that, it was just well done. And so Paul, my sound dude, you rock and you will always rock. And I will never forget that show. It was just an amazing show to put together. So
that is incredible. I mean, just to be able to play with the lighting would thrill me to no end. Because you can just completely change a mood and how things are just with the lighting. And I do it the cheap version. I collect tissue paper of different colors, and I keep it in a box over there. And it's a little trick. If you guys ever want to change your lighting, just be careful and use the LED light. They don't get as hot. Well, they do, but just pay attention. And if you clip it in front of the light, you can change the colors just with a clothespin and some tissue paper.
Yeah, you can do that with cellophane too. That colored cellophane that they have out at Christmas and all that stuff. Oh yeah. Carly, thank you for coming. I appreciate you very much.
Yeah,
Last Grown Up in the Woods, thank you for coming.
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you so much for coming. So that's a little trick if you guys want to change your lighting and you don't have something. Yeah, get the cellophanes. Sometimes you can get the vellum and tissue paper from the different packing. It works and it's amazing. One of the things that we were talking about the other day, and you have been dealing with younger people more than I have being a teacher recently, is I heard a phrase, excuse me one second. Sorry guys, the throat goes. I can't help it. Sorry. I heard a new term the other day, and this really floored me. I was talking to one of my younger family members who's, late grade school, early junior high, and she was telling me about she does artwork and other things, and somebody asked her online, "Oh, does that character have a backstory?" And I said, "Yeah, okay." And she says, "Oh, well, I'm wondering about some of my backstories are getting kind of dark." And I said, "Well, maybe that's the mood you feel in writing. Write it, and maybe you pass on into something else.
Right.
As a writer and somebody who creates characters with makeup and stuff like that, it's there's nothing wrong with it as long as it's not harmful." So she says to me, "Well," and I have to get this right. What was it? She says, "Well, I told them, warning, I'm putting a trigger warning on this." And I said, "What is a trigger warning?
Mm-hmm.
What on earth is that?" And she said, "Well, when there's something scary or there's something," and I said, wait, back up. "You mean when you tell a story, it might trigger emotion in them?" And she says, "Yeah." And I said, "Okay, that's what it's supposed to do."
Right. Right.
So it kind of floors me. And I said, "Wait, she says, "Oh, yeah, they have them on trailers of movies. They have them on all kinds of things. You got to watch it online. They now have something called a trigger warning that it could trigger feelings," which I just went, but isn't that what it's supposed to? And it's funny that you brought it up because have you ever heard of that?
It doesn't surprise me, and kids would say trigger, trigger, and I'd be like, yeah, okay, guys, okay. Usually it was because I was being emotional and I was gonna cry about something, but yeah, kids, yeah, it's a thing. I
Oh, okay.
It's a
Because it's
thing,
something I'd
and
never heard of. I
I
went,
I didn't know anything about it, and I'm not seeing it on any movies, but I'm not a movie watcher. We go outside. So I don't know. I always feel like, and I told my students this, that if you're not creating emotion, then you're not doing your job as an artist.
that's what
So
I said. I was a bit
um
confused by it. Variety Girl says we use trigger warnings in Slam Leg. She says that's not what a trigger warnings are for. They're for traumatic stuff like talk
like
of suicide
suicide
or
or rape.
rape.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
we didn't even when I did all this, we didn't even have that for that. It just was what it was, and I know things have changed and stuff like that. But that was my answer because and it didn't the character's backstory did not include anything else like that. So I think it's getting brought out over the things, and was curious with you as a teacher. Going, maybe Kay has heard of this
Eh, I
because my
I don't
face
know.
went the first thing when I started realizing as she was explaining, and I went, "You mean emotions? That's you're doing, like you said, you're doing your job then."
Right.
So
Well, and maybe the younger generation, like the tweens and
right,
kids that are younger, have taken what is a bigger meant to be for a bigger issue and just made it their own and said,
yeah,
you know what, it's for whenever something bad's going to happen or whenever you feel sad or something to that effect. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure. So
yeah, okay. I just had to ask out of
yeah, no,
curiosity.
that's kids are always coming up with something new, and I tried to not try to keep up. And then if something would come up and interrupt class or interrupt a rehearsal or something to that effect, I go, okay, I gotta know what is that, because I'm an old person. You gotta tell me. And then sometimes the girls would go, okay, come here. Come here, we gotta tell you. Come in because we're not gonna say it for the boys or whatever. But whatever, So we'd all get it all straightened out. Whatever
Yeah,
the interruption was would go away, and then they'd hear me use the term, and they'd be like, "Okay, we're not saying that ever again." Because
now you just killed it.
yeah, I just killed the term. That old lady over there just took care of it.
Okay, that was interesting because yeah, that's what I thought, and it just by coincidence happened to go by the other night, and I went,
Sure.
okay, little different than how I grew up, but
Right.
I'm trying to understand all of it. Not like not an old lady. You're not an old lady either,
Right.
but
Right.
in comparison, I guess to
In
somebody who's 10
comparison
or
to the kids that I
11,
was. twice the age of, yeah,
Yeah.
who were not even born in the year 2000. Oh, anyway.
Yeah, well, yeah, that is a thought, isn't it? Wow. I remember counting the years until it was 2000, and I wasn't
Yeah.
that old at the year 2000, but I definitely remember counting up to it. It was a big deal.
I was old in the year 2000. I was married in the year 2000.
Yeah, you would have been. That's, well, 25 years together,
Well,
definitely. You
yeah,
definitely,
we've
well,
been
18, you
married for
said
18
18.
years. We've been married for 18 years. So,
Right,
yeah.
right. Ah, Rachel evolved, made it. Wonderful, Rachel. We
Rachel's here. I
love
don't know you,
you.
Rachel, but thank you for coming, and I will meet you after the show. I promise I'll stop over.
She is awesome. I love her. She's actually a chef. She's really cool, and she does makeup things. Each of the greats says that blows my mind. Yeah, Rachel, it blew my mind too. That's why I had to ask. It was something new for me, and ask a teacher because they get all the stuff going by them. And
Yeah.
Kay, this is her first year not teaching, right?
Yes, it's my first year not in the classroom for very many years, and it's been a surreal start to the school year, as they say. So yeah, I still am having trouble that it's September, but
Yeah,
it is
yeah.
September because it still feels like June because I'm still off school.
Well,
So.
that's the thing. I think it feels like blah, 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 blah. There goes my mouth. I think it still feels like summer because we're still having summer weather, and I'm not getting that
Yeah.
spring yet, but the cooler weather yet. But yeah, that's got to be different after 17 years. This being your first. How did you decide to that this was the year to stop?
Okay. Wow. There's a lot to that story.
Oh, thank you so much, Variety Girl. Thank you for
Variety Girl.
coming.
She's been around with me all day. She came into my stream this morning. The first time she'd ever been there. So I love that she spent the day with me pretty much. That's awesome.
Thank you so much. And please come back again. We love new people, and then you become regular people, and we love that. I love everybody. As long as you're cool, hey, I'm down with it. I like people.
Good. So Matt and I have worked for a really long time to try to, I don't know, we've had this idea in the back of our head that we wanted to build a business basically, and we just didn't. We have lots of ideas. We bounce ideas all the time. Hey, well, let's do this, and hey, I could do this, or you could quit and do this, and da 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 da. But so we got to a point at the end of last year, or at the beginning, sometime anyway, around December, I would say probably, that we just started looking at my schedule. And
Right.
Matt and I are a family of two, but we are a family.
That's a family still. That counts.
Come in lots of different pictures. So I wasn't able to spend time with him. I would go to school. I was working with the drama club, the band, the choir, all of it. And so I wasn't able to spend time with him. I'd go to school.
That's a big thing.
Yeah. I'd go to school in October and basically say, hey, see you in February. And so we decided that as a family, we could afford to have me stay home and work on content creation and YouTube. And we have an Instagram account and a Twitter account and all that stuff. And so with that, we'd try to make a go of it. And that's kind of where this 30-day health challenge came out of, and all of that stuff. So we decided that, since Matt was staying in his career, we could afford for me to come and stay home and do more of the home budgeting and cooking the food and all that stuff. So
that's really important stuff in a family. Sure. Families need that. It's because nowadays it's a little bit different. My mom stayed at home the entire time I was growing up. Gotcha. Oh wait, she went to work part-time for a short period of time, and then they just decided that it wasn't really the thing for them. And luckily my father, was very successful, and it wasn't necessary. But it is a job in and of itself. And yeah, Rachel Vol says, of course that counts. That's
thanks.
Huge. It's an extremely important job, to be taking care of the family. I think Oprah Winfrey said mother is the most important job, but I don't think it necessarily has to be a mother. I think homemaker is one of the most important jobs there is.
Well, Matt
because
and I are a team, and he just got home. That's why you see me looking over that direction. So he may walk in here at some point in time. But yeah, I I work really hard to work throughout my work day, and then when he gets home, I work really hard to be at home with him. And it's been
right.
really, really nice to eat dinner together, even if we don't talk. Just eating dinner together and
That was
doing.
huge in our family,
Oh
eating
yeah. And
together every night.
my mom worked from the time I was 3 all the way through. She didn't retire until after I was out of the house. But that was a big thing for our family, was to sit
Right.
down and eat dinner together. And then when I realized that Matt and I as a family were not sitting down and eating dinner together, and my health was getting worse because I was eating out all the time, or
Mm-hmm.
I was too stressed, and I was not happy at home because I could not be happy at work because I worked too hard. It was just too much. It wasn't what it needed to be.
Right. Right. Yeah. Julie says, yes, I agree. It's in hello, Michelle. Thank you for coming. No, it's a huge important thing. My parents were very, very strict about that. And sometimes when I was a kid, I'd get irritated because I'd want to go do something and it was dinner time.
Sure.
But I am thankful for it now and understood it later that it
Right.
really is an important time to sit down and eat and connect. And Rachel is saying I can totally relate, Kay, and
Mhm.
Julie's agreeing. And it's an important time of the day. I used to have to ask permission even in high school.
To miss
Can I
dinner.
miss dinner? You
Yeah.
know, and my father would say if the phone would ring, he's like, why is somebody calling during the dinner hour? You don't
Yeah.
call during the dinner hour.
We just didn't answer my dad was a teacher, and he's like, I've talked to people all day. I am done. You are not answering the phone. We're sitting here. We would not say a
Exactly.
word during dinner, but we were sitting there. So we sat there and we ate, but I knew that the answering machine was going to pick up, and we'd know who it was in a minute. But
Yeah.
it's very important for Matt and I to at least have that time together. And then when we're done here, he just went up to work, so he waved as he went by. So he just went up to work, wave at Matt. But anyway, so yeah, it's important for us to have that time together, and we always try to take a little bit of time either at the beginning or the end of our day so that we can spend that time together. And that's basically how we decided, because I loved my career.
Right.
I loved my band kids, I loved my choir kids, I loved my drama kids, I loved the people I worked with. I
Oh, and you're
was
incredibly important to them. I still talk to, I don't go on Facebook a lot, but my private Facebook account, my band instructor from the 5th grade on is on there, and I still talk to him. Hi, Mr. Bultman. I still cannot call him his first name because it feels too weird.
I understand.
But Age of the Great says, why work if you're not able to enjoy the fruits of your labor and spend time with the people that matter? And Sarah May, wonderful. I love that. I'm back. Um,
Why did
Rachel
I
says,
stop again?
um,
Well, sorry, I'm reading chat.
no,
I should
please,
probably
no,
wait.
go ahead. No, you don't have to.
So,
Please.
Rachel, I stopped I was burned out. I was very tired. I was working at least 60 hours a week every week, and I worked every weekend. In November, I had one
Wow,
day,
yeah, that's a lot.
other than the Thanksgiving weekend, I had one day off in November. I was running the whole
Holy,
performing arts department. When we had choir auditions on Saturdays, I would have to go to that. When we'd have band auditions on Saturdays and then a rehearsal on Sunday, I'd have to go to that. So it was just a lot of work. And I married my husband because I love him and I love to spend time with him. He's
right.
my best friend. And
As
I
it should
just
be. It always
wasn't
confuses me
right.
when somebody says they're not friends with their spouse, or I'm going, how is that possible? How are you with them if you're not best friends with them? But I
Yeah.
guess some people are different. But yeah,
It
go
takes
ahead.
all kinds, and I'm not here to judge, but I'm very, very fortunate that Matt felt that I could be home, and we're trying to make the best of my new career. And I do love my new career. I love sitting here, and I love creating videos every day. I love my live streams We have 20-ish people who come into our streams every day, either in the stream or in a replay, to talk about health and talk about, well, today we talked about calories versus portion control and how they were different and calorie counting.
Yep.
And we had a great conversation, and these people are working on different things than I was working on when I was in school. But I feel like I'm still moderating an education and still moderating learning and growing every day.
Well, you
And
are.
so,
Which
yes.
For the audience, we're going to get into that in a second. I wanted you guys to build up and learn a little bit about Kay before we jumped right into that. But I really think Mama Style says teachers tend to work overtime a lot. My mom is a teacher, and even off her days off, she works. And Julie says, I am best friends with my hubby. I feel blessed for that. Speaking for me, I don't think I would be able to be with someone in a serious relationship or a marriage if it wasn't my best friend. That's just how I am. But, that's what I saw with my parents and my grandparents and, whatnot, is that was their best friend that they went to. They had other friends, but it's to me, a very important dynamic in a relationship.
I think so too. I mean, Matt and I like to spend time with each other more than we like to spend time with anybody else. And I always tell him he's my favorite. And
well, yeah, I don't understand. I like that.
Everything.
I tried to think about it once because I heard somebody say that I knew somebody got a divorce and they said, well, I wasn't friends with my husband. And I went, how did you get married? How do you not be friends? It's a dynamic I don't understand. That's why I asked the question of her, because it's just very different to me, because that's what I grew up with. And Mama says teachers are deeply underappreciated in many cases. Yes.
Yes. And I know that I was appreciated by the parents that I worked for, because it was a Catholic school that I worked for. And I'm not Catholic, but I love my Catholic school parents and my Catholic school kids. They're fantastic. And I know that I was appreciated by them. I know that I was appreciated by by my administration. They were a very good administration. And I couldn't pick a better place to work for. I know everybody tells me it sounds wonderful, crazy that I quit, but there are things. I do
understand what you're saying. It makes sense to me. It makes perfect sense.
It does.
H of the Great says, I say that to my fiancé too. You're my favorite. And Rachel Volz says, I love spending time with my husband. I actually don't like sharing time with my husband and the people. I like being alone with him. Yeah, and Rachel says, I still get that.
Yeah, that's why this is a hard time slot, because Matt comes home in the middle, and I made dinner beforehand, put it in the oven to stay warm, and then he came home, ate, and then went up to his office. And so I'll see him after this. But this is a hard time slot for me. I don't normally make your 7 o'clock show for very long, because he comes home. It's 6:30 my time, 7:30 yours.
Thank you so much for being with us tonight.
Oh, no problem. I'm having a good time.
Well, yeah, it seems, I think everybody is understanding, that makes a lot of sense. If you spent all this time, and even if you love it and it's wonderful and everything else, and I'm sure that your students, like I was with my teachers and everything else like that, are going to remember you all the way through. And now with social media, now you can find your old teachers. And
yeah,
really cool.
I've connected with a lot of mine. That was the other thing, though. I wanted to teach my kids that I'm 42 at this point. You don't have to pick just one thing in life that you're going to be good at.
Right.
And I always told my kids that, Matt and I practice the hedgehog concept, and I don't know a whole lot about it, but the hedgehog concept is a business concept, and it's where you pick something that you're the best at, that you can be better than anyone else. And for teaching school, I said, I may not be the best music teacher in the city. I may not be the best music teacher in our Catholic schools, but I can love my kids better than anybody else. And I stick by that. I could love my kids better than anybody else. And I told them every Friday that they were not replaceable. and they needed to come back and see me on Monday, and they needed to be careful over the weekend. And I still tell them that. My alumni that I do talk to on Facebook, every time they'll like message me or something, and Mrs. J, blah, 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 blah. And I'll be like, yes, have a great weekend. You are not replaceable. And they'll go, oh, I love that. So
yeah, that was one of the
yes.
things that I loved you saying when we were in the pre-interview, because when I started this you stories, and I called it you stories, not because of YouTube, but because of the yous that told the stories. And you know, and some people would say to me, well, you know, I don't have that many subscribers, or I don't have anything interesting, or oh, I don't have a channel. And I said, it doesn't matter. It's not about having a YouTube channel. You don't need one. Right. And I don't care if you have if you do have 2 subscribers or 5 million. It's the same to me. You know, I think, you know, everybody is different. Everybody has something interesting. And you said it perfectly when we were talking. You know, you are not replaceable. You know, you're you. And that's one of the major concepts to this show that I love so much about it. And I thought it was fantastic that you say that to your students.
Yeah.
So really interesting. Now, as we're rolling through, since Kay is now home, she has more time to, yeah, Angel says, that's right. I agree, Lady Borgia. Yeah, I know Angel does too. We were talking about it last week. We were having a talk about her Angels on Board, I Paid It Forward ministry for incarcerated women. And, you know, and we were talking about how guilty, not guilty, whatever it is, everybody counts as a human being. And maybe they may not be in the best place in their life, but that's the time that they need you to stick your hand out and say, hey, I'm here. You know, not in a sense that you harm yourself or anything else like that. You got to be careful, but, you know, because not everybody's on the up and up, but even, you know, people need people. They do, you know, and so the cool thing about all this now that she is home is she can teach in other areas, as she said. So we're going to get into the hiking and the newest thing that they are doing on their channel this month. I'm going to let you tell about it, Kay.
Sure. As I introduce all of my live streams, this is the 30-day health challenge, and we work on always working to be better. And I have about 20 people who are in for the challenge. My printer's down. I don't have all their names up here, but
so that's so cool that you got all their names, because I couldn't see it, and now I see. That's really fun. That's neat.
This is my community board, and there are people in who don't have channels at all. Donna Owen doesn't have a YouTube channel. Lori Bryant doesn't have a YouTube channel. And so they come and they participate, or they don't participate. They watch the replay and they work on encouragement. This month we have 3 facets to our health channel. We have our health challenge, excuse me. We have a fitness goal, a food goal, and an encouragement goal. So your encouragement goal is to come and tell people here in the chat, or in our comments, or in our Twitter group, or on Instagram, or anything else, anywhere else you might see them, that they're doing a great job at always working to be better. In our fitness goals, we have a 30-day core challenge. So that's working a workout that's set every day, and I made up a calendar for that. And then but you don't have to do that. That's just a part of it. You could take and do just 45 minutes of exercise 4 times a week. And it's all self-run. I'm not going to come and go, are you doing your exercises? I need a video about that. No, I don't care. You tell me you did it. Okay, you did it. Fantastic. I'm super proud of you.
And people really do that. That would be a little weird.
I actually, okay, so I have Skinny G Panda, who's on the list right there. She does her workouts and she will record them and do a VR for me, and always working to be better. She did it last week. I was like, that is the best thing ever. So I totally called her out on my Sunday video. I do an edited video on Sunday, just kind of a review for the week for people who might not like to watch live streams, but want to come and be encouraging. The Texas alcoholics can't come to the live streams. It's in the middle of their workday, but they come on Sundays and they kind of give a rundown of what they did. And so it's really,
yeah, that's why I have a harder time getting on YouTube and live streams during the day. I'm going to do a couple when it gets to it, but yeah, daytime is a little harder for some people.
of course. Oh yeah, I know. And when I decided to start, well, let me finish with my food goals, because I'll forget. I'm old, you know. So our food goals.
You are not old, but go ahead.
I'm 42 and I forget things like crazy. I avoid junk food 6 days a week and then moderate on day 7. Portion control could be countering calories, could be a smaller plate size, could be using a smaller fork, whatever. Or you can max out your fruits and vegetables, because downright, some people kept telling me, I don't eat any fruits and vegetables. What are you talking about? And I was like,
oh no, I love them. I know. I can feel it if I don't eat them, and I really feel the difference.
And
but I love them.
And that's exactly what people are finding out, is that they're like, I got to eat way more food, number one, because they were eating lower calorie fruits and vegetables. So they get to eat more often. And so they're feeling fuller and they feel better because their body's getting what it needs. But they're finding this out, and it's just a really neat, we've had lots of great aha moments. We've also had some people who are fully grown adults. And I say that in the most kind way possible. Fully grown adults that have lost the idea of general elementary nutrition. And they didn't even realize they'd lost it. And they're all of a sudden going, wow, that is amazing that this works. So, you know, four basic food groups, try to get them all, you know, or don't overeat, or, you know, if you're going to have beer, then, you know, you need to make sure that you count those, balance, moderation, all that stuff.
Some people forget to count liquid calories, and those can add up very quickly.
I am so guilty of that. Gatorade. Oh, see, and Gatorade's the worst, but I'm a hiker, so that's one of those things we have around the house. And well, wine, which I'm not drinking wine, I'm drinking water tonight. You should be extra super proud of me. Anyway, but yeah,
this
wine.
Is my regular water bottle, okay? I'm a huge water drinker.
I am the worst at drinking water, and I've refilled this little bitty cup more than once, so I'm proud of myself. I am the worst at drinking water, and that was one of those things that we talked about a lot in our first 30-day challenge during August. We
Angel says your plate should look like a rainbow.
Yes, you teach that to kindergartners, and I understand. That was going to be one of our challenge goals, is to have your plate be a rainbow. But then Matt was like, you've got to be kidding me. We are not treating people like children. And I'm like, okay, fine. Okay, it's all right.
F2WC says, I definitely need to do something for sure. Good advice. Well, head over to her, to Kay's channel. Happy
We'd love to have you.
And she's going to be doing it. And this is one thing that was really cool. I have my series that I started, Feeling Better with Borgia, that I haven't regularly gotten the videos out yet. And it's stuff that helps people that I learned as a scientist and a patient with rheumatoid arthritis and fibromyalgia, and things that help you. And some of the stuff that I'm going to do overlaps a bit with what Kay does, because mine will include exercise and lifestyle, diet, non-medical, medicine that, you know, is, you know, more Eastern type things and stuff like that, food oriented, exercise oriented help. So, but that I'm just doing videos, and I'm trying to get them back to 3 to 4 a month, and then probably more. But if you guys, I'm seeing several people saying I need to do something. She's running it now.
And it's not something, you're not late. You don't, you can start from wherever you are. And I keep telling people, I saw somebody, TK Knowles said, LOL beer. We exercise so we can drink more beer. We drink beer all the time. We have a series called Thirsty Thursdays. I mean, yeah.
Which, by the way, I did not get this, and it seems like I'm advertising, but this Hydro Flask,
Mm-hmm.
it fits either 64 ounces of water,
Mm-hmm.
or it be, and a reason why I have a 30-ounce one. The reason why I got one this big is because when I'm able to, I swim a lot. I'm a swimmer,
Oh, yeah.
and I wasn't able, I will go through because I'll swim a couple miles just back and forth. And it's also like my mental, I thought of it one day
Sure.
like this, like if I could see all the thoughts that I had left in that giant pool, you know, it
Right.
would probably be full, and it's a huge 6-lane pool, but it's kind of like a moving meditation for me, and
Sure.
exercise, and I haven't been able to do it because of some of my health issues. You
Respiratory,
can't do
yeah.
it with a respiratory infection. But this was because you can't get out of the pool, and the only thing they have there is a drinking fountain, not one of the water filter things like in the rest of the gym. And
Gotcha.
drinking fountains freak me out, so I got the gallon size. But this also fits 6 beers and stays cold for 24
Long
hours
time.
or hot. So if you're ever looking, go find the growler on
Yep.
Amazon for Hydro Flask.
There you
And
go.
it's phenomenal if you guys are beer drinkers. And
I
no, it's not sponsored. I just love them.
There you go. We have lots of these, and when we go camping, they're for beer.
Mhm.
But I have almost more men in on the 30-day challenge than I do women. It's almost half and half, to be really honest. And
That's
I'm
great.
very honest with our health. I'm a failure. I fail every single day. And as long as you think of failure as a stair step to success, then you're good. If you think of failure as I'm a failure and I'm done, just like half of our young people and old people for that matter do today, if I'm going to fail at it, I'm not going to try. Well, forget that. That's just stupid.
It is.
You need to try. And Matt's in for the 30-day challenge. Matt sends in recordings every once in a while. He every day that he works out, he sends in a recording after his workout. And so,
Awesome.
yeah, I have as many men in as I have women. And I'm very honest. I drink beer or wine at least 4 times a week. And Matt, I mean, I it's part of my diet. I count my calories. That is just what it is. And yes, I need one of those flasks too.
I'm gonna do a review of them, and I have the Amazon affiliates thing, so I get like a little bit. But I'm gonna do a review, put them up, and put the links for them because you can even customize the colors and do
That's
the whole
fun.
thing. So yeah,
That's
that's gonna
awesome.
be an upcoming video, and because it's part of the health series thing. But yeah, you can put beer in it too. So
Angel, I'm writing down your name right now, and you are going to be on my community board tomorrow. Angel Dominique wants in. You got it, dear.
awesome, Angel. Yeah, that's one of the things I wanted you guys to realize that, yeah, you're not too late. You didn't have to start at the beginning. Start where you start. Because one thing that I've noticed people do is when they're going to try to change something in their life, they'll say, well, I'm going to wait and do it at this point.
Yep.
And instead of just saying, okay, let's jump in now. You
Right.
know, why not now? Just go, just do it. You know, like I said,
Well,
I love to swim, and there's a bunch of things I do. And part of my feeling better with Borgia is going to be showing some of the things I do. I can't film a lot in my gym, but
of course not.
you
Yeah.
know, and I would love to be in the pool swimming right now. Obviously, when you have, you know, like I said, respiratory things, you don't get in the
Sure.
pool.
Right. My
And
mom can't swim anymore, and she just hates that she can't. That was her one thing that she could do. She has arthritic hips, and
it
so
helps
oh,
so
it's so
much with
awesome.
our it's amazing. And even if you don't have arthritis, it's really fantastic. I'll tell you guys more about that then. And I'm going to be able to get back in as soon as like everything's fully clear, then I'm good to go. And I like to lift weights too. The
Sure.
treadmill is the worst thing in the world to me. It's the most boring thing in the world. If I'm going to
I
walk,
have
I want to go outside.
I have
But
my
that's me.
YouTube up here and my treadmill. I have a TV right in front of my own personal treadmill here at home, so that's the only way it works. But the reason I started my low fat, because that's
Hmm.
what I do. I have high cholesterol. I got pissed off at my doctor because I already have thyroid issues,
Right.
and so I had a thyroidectomy back in 2002. Not the whole thing, just the right side.
Hmm.
And so my hormones are all out of whack anyway. And
Yeah.
then my doctor was like, your cholesterol's been high this many times. And so we're going to put you on statins. And I went, oh, hell no. No, you're not. And so I changed that day. I said, I'm finding a nutritionist and I'm going to change right now. We're going to fix this because I'm not going to have my doctor put me on it. She says, I put in a prescription. You go get it. And I was like, no, I'm not. I won't do it. I was 38 years old at the time. That's just silly. So yeah. And I was like, I'm not going to do this for the rest of my life. So I changed that day, and I haven't gone back really since. So
then that's the time to do it. When it comes to you, do it. And I tried going back straight into weightlifting without warming up with the pool first, and ended up hurting myself. I got a little overzealous, not with actual lifting weights, but the after thing that I do core work on the mat. And I kind of do almost an aerobic thing with one of the rolling balls, and I have my music, and I was going along, and I get to a certain point, I don't want to stop because I'm enjoying it so much.
Sure.
Went a little too far and ended up pulling the deep chest muscles, and I got put on bed rest. So they said next time because I'm always going to have to restart. There's always going to be something where I have a respiratory illness because of my autoimmune system. Gotcha. And have to stop with the pool for a bit and then start over again. So I understand starting, you guys. I'll be doing great, and have to start over and over and over for the rest of my life because that's the way it is.
I start over and over and over because I'm a failure. I mean, that's just, I'm human, and I start over. Like, I did the whole first.
Thanks for coming, H of the Great. So good to see you.
Thanks for coming. Yeah, I went through the whole first 30-day challenge. And I was like, I'm leading the charge. I'm going to be the one who does this well. I missed 3 or 4 days, and I gained a pound. Yay me.
Happens.
I know. And so I was like, all right.
Keep doing it or start again.
And so I looked at them on the last day of our 30-day challenge, and I said, we are starting again tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I started today, and we're not going to stop, but I'm a failure. And here's why I failed, and this is what I learned from it, and here's how I'm going to change things. And that's what we do.
I love that attitude. I love that attitude because you know what? Things happen all throughout life. You make decisions or you do things and you go, oh, that didn't work out. Okay, I made the wrong decision. And you have the choice to either sit there and wallow in it or go, okay, it was a learning experience. Let's move on.
Right. And I always encouraged my kids and anybody else, you need to fail at things. I hope you're a big fat failure.
You learn a lot from it.
And I hope that you pick yourself up and you do something else.
Yes.
You do something else. Angel, I just read the chat. Angel gained 3 pounds testing out Halloween candy. I'm proud of you. I want that job. Can I help you test Halloween candy?
Well, she works in marketing for Costco, so she's got lots of candy around. And Papa King says failing at things is all part of being a human. Yes, it is.
Yes. Experience. Will you please tell all teenagers and little children that? Because I would have band students who would start in 4th or 5th grade. They weren't playing jazz in the first month, and so they decided that they had to quit because they couldn't do this. So
no, you got to keep working towards. See, the way I was raised was that there is no limit to what you can do. Go for it.
That's
do
great.
what you want to do. And this happened in college. There was you know, as an undergrad, I was pre-med, and had I not become ill with severe rheumatoid arthritis, I mean, I got hit like a train overnight. And being a neurosurgeon is really hard if you can't stand there long enough to do the surgeries. People don't like you to go lay down while they're
knocked out on the table and their brains out. Yeah, that's
not so good. Mentally, I can do it, but physically, not so much. But you know, you can still keep going and doing it. And, you know, it doesn't mean that that is the end. You know, you find and do something else, you know, and it doesn't. Jules says, I so agree. We cannot learn if we don't make mistakes in life. Yeah, do something else. And this is the thing. So I said, when I was an undergrad, there was an anatomy class that was known. The professor used to teach medical school, and it was supposed to be very, very difficult. Half the class would drop, all this stuff. Dr. Walensky, I love you. I'm still here. And he taught anatomy and neuroanatomy. And there was a lower level anatomy for nursing and stuff like this, but this was the hardcore one. And I said to my physics lab print. And I said, oh, I want to take that. She said, oh, don't take that. Don't take that. It's too hard. And I said, well, it's anatomy. And she was pre-med too. And I said, but we had to know that anyway. And it has to be learnable because other people know it. So what could he possibly do to it to make it impossible? And she's like, oh, I'm not, it's too hard. I went, I took that class. I loved it. I learned a ton from him. Were his tests ridiculously hard? Yes.
Yeah.
I got one of the 2 A's in the class and went on to neuroanatomy. And then that was a little thing with me. I was like, wait, I was second place by 2 points. Heck no. And then beat it out by 9 points on the final. And but you learn from it. And I was like, but if you say no, I can't do it and it's too hard before you even try it. And people would. When I went to that class, they stopped within the first week. We lost half the class. It's too hard. I can't do it. And I'm like, what are you going to do in medical school? What's going on?
Right.
So I was taught, there's nothing that you can't do if you want to do it.
I want the doctor that failed a lot when they were in school, not when they were after they were.
Yes. Yes.
By the way, Enzo says that he's a failure every time he sees French fries. And I eat French fries. I fry potatoes at least 3 times a week. They are a comfort food for me. So just count those calories. That's what I do.
One of my comfort foods is Cobb salad from Panera with extra egg and avocado. But that's got a lot of calories. But
it does have a lot of calories. But the avocado is good for you. I don't like avocado. I'm one of those. I'm either in the, I hear you're either in the love avocado or the hate avocado.
When I was a kid, I didn't like them at all. And we lived in California and there was 2 avocado groves like right near us. And I didn't like it. And I didn't like shrimps. And we used to go to Japanese a lot. We had a lot of Japanese friends. And I would give my mom, I love the broccoli. And my mom was she had me believing that it was a huge trade to get, well, I don't know if I'm going to take that shrimp and give you the broccoli. I really like the broccoli. She used to mess with me. But so I think it's a phenomenal attitude. This is one of the things I absolutely loved in the pre-interview was, there's someone after my own heart that there shouldn't be any limitations to what you want to try and do. And there's never an end. It's not, oh, I've done this and that's it. No, go do it, fail, try it again. Do it some more and try something else.
You don't know if you're gonna succeed at it if you don't even try. And that's, or you don't give it a good college try, as they say.
Yeah.
So yeah, avocados are
hi, Alan. It's so good to see you.
And I like shrimp, so there we are.
Yeah. Alan only likes fried shrimp. Alan's so glad that you made it. Alan, no matter what, he always tries to make my live streams, and if he hasn't, he always comes to the replay. So thank you so much, Alan. That was wonderful. I'm sorry that your singing practice got called off tonight. I love to sing. I don't sound very good anymore, but once upon a time I did. And STW themes, I wish I liked shrimp, but I'm allergic. Oh, that's right.
No seafood for you then. You can't have any shrimp.
And yes, Angel,
you get extra French fries.
Yeah, you get extra French fries. I'll eat your seafood. And Angel said, yes, avocado with a little sea salt is beautiful. But when I was a kid, I didn't like it. But you know what? This is one thing with food. I always keep trying foods that I didn't like. And my father encouraged that in me. He said, well, try it again. And it's true. I still do it to this day. And foods that I did not like previously, I've come to like. So
sure. And that happens from time to time. People keep trying to get me to try eggplant and turnips and what else? Zucchini. Not gonna happen. I keep knocking my stupid headphones out of my ears.
Oh, I do that all the time.
I can't hear you anymore. Now I can. Okay.
Okay, no worries. I do it all the time. And I listen, when I'm doing videos, I started putting music in one ear because I realized, hey, that's how I do it when I'm sitting here by myself and I'm a lot happier. It affects my painting and stuff like that. And I'm constantly knocking it out. So no big deal. Alan says we used to make our kids try things at least once when they were small. Yeah, we had the same thing. In our household.
We had to try them too. My mom never had the rule that I had to finish everything on my plate.
No,
she knew
we didn't either.
That I would come back and eat later. It drove my grandmother crazy. My grandmother was born in 1900, was married during the Depression, so on and so forth. And so we would fix plates, big family. I was the youngest of 32 grandchildren. But
oh, that's so cool.
yes. But my mom had fixed me a plate. It's big buffet, big family gathering.
Right.
My grandmother would go, Kay hasn't finished all of her lunch. And mom said, just leave it there.
Yep.
She'll come back. And I did. And I'd eat it all. It was, I'm a good eater. I still am a good eater. But yeah, so it's
it's
just
much
been a thing.
healthier. Hey, my adventure, thank you so much for coming. Wonderful. Jump into the conversation and make friends with everyone. It's actually much healthier. I was lucky with the fact my father, actually, he was a professor in research. He was also a doctor, so on and so forth. So I grew up on a college campus before he went corporate. Yeah, so I was involved a lot with that too. But it was also good because that's what he would say. We never had the thing that I had to clean my plate, because when you're full, and it takes 20 minutes for the signal to reach your brain. So when you do, you should eat slowly so it gets that chance. And then once, hello, Alan, sent you Milo. Oh, that's so sweet. And thank you. Thumbs up to the host. Thank you so much. And to my guest. But for everybody, eat slowly is one thing. Try to slow it down if you can, because it does take 20 minutes for the signal to reach your brain. And if you are full, take your plate away. Put it away until later, because putting the extra food in is, that's how the scale will go up.
In our 30-day challenge, we talk about making food meaningful, making eating mean something. And we spend a lot of time talking about comfort food and what are your comfort foods. And I tend to say my comfort food is whatever food I get to eat at dinner that night.
Nice.
I get to sit down. It's the end of my day. I don't have to rush off to do something else. The rest of the day is done. So I get to sit down and I get to eat dinner, and I get to wait, and I get to actually eat whatever I have in front of me. And so make food meaningful. Don't just nosh. Noshing is I mean, I could sit here in front of my computer, watch YouTube videos, create YouTube videos, do the social media and all of that stuff for all of my business, and answer emails and whatever, and listen to all of you awesome creators talk at me all day long and just pile it in. I could sit here all day long, and I'd get up, go to the bathroom, come back. There'd be a new live stream on. I could watch somebody else. I get to say hi to all my friends. I'm a very social person.
Yep, me too.
But I could just nosh all day. But at some point, at 12:30 today, I was like, okay, guys, I'm getting up from the computer, and I don't want to see you for a half an hour. So I walked into the kitchen. I made myself a sandwich. I sat down at the kitchen table and I ate it. So I made it mean something. I knew that I wanted to get back to things. I knew there were some things coming up in the afternoon. There was a Twitter chat I wanted to be a part of, but I took a half an hour and I made it mean something, and I ate. I just sat there and I ate, and it takes time for yourself that way too.
Right. It's very important.
It is very important. It's very important, and it will help you in your self-control and your portion control as well.
Right. Well, I've noticed it myself, and I think anybody can relate to it. If you sit down, in front of the TV or somewhere else, and you look down, and all of a sudden the bowl of what you have is empty, and you're like, what the hell happened to it?
Right.
Where did it go?
My cat ate it.
Hold on. I had the last bite and I didn't know. Right. Oh, and you don't even realize that you've done it, and then you just completely missed out on eating and enjoying it, and then this food has gone in, and I think psychologically you feel as if you haven't eaten, and many people will go and eat again because they missed the actual experience of eating.
Yeah. Did I even eat? And then tomorrow on our live stream, tomorrow's one of my favorite days, we're going to talk about fast food and eating out and what to do if you're going to be out all day and you need to plan for that. And it's all about making food meaningful and you planning it. And I read somebody up there, Putt King says, that's the problem with me. I usually eat fast. I get it. I was a teacher. We had 20 minutes from the time the kids left our room to go to lunch and the time they came back, and I had to be ready for them the second they came back.
Yeah.
So I had generally 16 minutes to eat, and that's if kids didn't have any questions or want to talk to me during lunch.
Yeah.
So I'm good at throwing it in. And, you know, when I was doing after school rehearsals, I would have, you know, I'd get done with school at 2:50. I'd tell the kids, you cannot talk to me until 3:05. That way I have 15 minutes. And then I would go right into set design and lighting and all the tech stuff. And then at 4:30, I would tell everybody to go away. And I was eating dinner, and I cooked dinner in a crock pot all day long. It was great. But so I would sit down and I would eat, and the kids I would charge them $1 to eat whatever I had in the crock pot. And they would sign up, and it was great. And we'd all just sit down and we'd eat, and we wouldn't talk about sets. We wouldn't talk about costumes. We wouldn't run lines. We'd sit down and we would eat. And it was a great time with my kids, and it was really fun. And the kids loved those times just as much as they loved the line bashes and the, you know, running the plays or the rehearsals or whatever. But then I'd work until 10 o'clock. You know, so finally, that was what I got to was I'm going to cook dinner crock pot so that I don't have to throw food in my mouth and then go on to the next thing.
Yeah,
so,
crock pots are great for that.
Oh, Alan, you've taught art elementary kids for the last 3 years. Well, thank you very much for your service for our youth. I
24
really
in middle school. That is really cool.
That's amazing.
Awesome. That I did not know that about you. Really cool to find that out, Alan.
Yeah, that is really, really cool. I do have some artwork behind me. Did you notice? Oh, wrong side. Did you notice?
I see, yeah, I noticed a little bit. Hold on.
Here, I need to hold this up because you know this person very, very well. Do you know who it is?
Yes, I do know who that is. That is a friend of mine. That is Frank, also known as Artemore. Actually, the full name is Artemortifica. Yes, my buddy Frank.
And so Frank was doing a live stream with these, and he was going through all of his artwork. And
yeah, he's been giving it out lately.
Yeah, he said, just tell me if you see one that you want. And I had about 5. I'll put it back up later. That'll be easier. I had about 5 that I wanted, but I did not want to get greedy. I just loved it. Anyway, so yeah. Hey,
yeah, and for you guys, if you missed it, for anybody who follows Frank, go check him out on Instagram. He has been doing a lot of live streams on Instagram as well. So check that out too. I did one randomly and at midnight after I finished a thing, and I went, oh wow, there's people here. Okay, cool.
Right. Yeah, Rachel, he did. He just gave it to me, sent it to me and everything.
He's been giving out his art.
Didn't have to pay anything. I was so touched. It was beautiful.
Really awesome.
Frank is the best. Oh my goodness. Anyway,
yeah, he's one of the first people that I met on here. He was really early on with S2W themes, and we all met through Professional Student, and then a bunch of us met through James Cox. But yeah, Frank was one of my first YouTube buddies. So I heard that he's like, yeah, I've been giving stuff away, and I was like, I missed it. He's like, I've got more. Don't worry.
Oh, he has a ton. Such a talented artist, and he's just been keeping it all. And you know, one of those things that is all about art is sharing it. And and that's why I love YouTube, is that we can all share our art. And because what you do, YouTubers, content creators, is art. Don't forget that.
It is. And you know, that's one of the things that I found everything through Instagram. And yes, S2W themes. Frank is a true gentleman, as are you. You are also Enzo is a true gentleman. Definitely Enzo here as an old soul. Both of you guys are awesome. One of the things and it started with Instagram. I really wasn't that into Instagram. I'd put a few pictures up and whatnot. And when I discovered that there was a whole community of people taking pictures of their makeup and their special effects makeup and all the different kinds, but wait a second, this is like a whole new thing that I can actually share what I do, because I'd stopped doing it off and on throughout life. And I do it for a while and then not, and then do it. And when I figured out that I could still paint with my arthritis and it didn't affect how I held the brush, And sometimes it actually makes me feel better or has lowered fevers because I just zone in on that. And
Oh,
it was the coolest thing. I was like, wait, I can do this. And yeah, I take pictures of it and stuff, but I can actually share it with people and it's fun. And then that led to a business and then YouTube. And then I found sharing things on YouTube. And YouTube, I think, is a little more, I like Instagram, but YouTube, I get to do more and create more things. And it's a whole nother art form just doing the YouTube. So, it is what everybody does on here is art and it's fantastic. And I call it, the global playground for creative people.
yeah. I am on all the socials. You can find me on Happy Trails Hiking, on Instagram and on Facebook, as well as YouTube, of course. And then on Twitter, we're at Happy Trails Hike because the ing wouldn't fit. So, in the amount of
Yeah.
characters they give you. So I'm at Happy Trails Hike, but there is an E on the end of that.
Yeah,
So
definitely
anyway,
check Kay out. Alan,
and
oh, you have a few videos with art stuff a while back. I will have to go and check that out. That's really cool. Yeah, Twitter was funny. That was the one when I signed on 10 years ago, not 10 years ago, in 2010, that a burlesque dancer that uses the Borgia name is a pseudonym. And for me, it's not a pseudonym, it's my real name. Told me that I took her name, and I said, no, you took mine.
yeah,
She
right,
wanted me to give up the handle, and I went, but that is my name.
right. That's what I
That's how I
do.
was born. And she was like, oh. So, and you can actually, if you look up Lady Borgia, my channel is The Lady Borgia. You will see, I don't think she posts anymore, but from 6, 7 years ago, her art, burlesque dancing, it is an art form, and everything else. But yeah, it's really cool on here, the stuff you can do and the people that you can meet. It's been, really, really fun. Although it can get away from me. So sometimes I get too many ideas and I have to limit, like, okay, stop. You can do that, but you're going to have to wait until you do these because I need about 8 more of me to catch up with all the
Right.
things my brain thinks up.
Well, I've finally made myself a schedule for every day,
Yeah,
and said, okay, I'm going to spend this much time on Instagram and creating Instagram content and this much time on Twitter. And today I had one of those Twitter
very wise
chats.
idea. Mm-hmm.
And so, because creating and editing content, it takes forever.
It
Now,
does.
I do it more quickly than some, or I feel like I do. I don't know. Lots of people say, oh, I spent 4 hours editing this one thing. I'm like, yeah, if I'm watching someone else's videos and trying to edit at the same time, it's going to take me that long. But the video that I'm putting out tomorrow morning didn't take 4 hours. I mean, now I do really short videos. All of our edited content's very short. The longest stuff I do is my half-hour live stream. So,
Right.
so anyway,
Yeah,
but
mine,
yeah.
mine take a lot longer, but it depends what I do. And it
Right.
depends
Well,
on the
and
topic.
your content's entirely different than mine. I went
Right.
hiking. My hike took 9 hours to do,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm very methodical, and Matt's very good about Matt carries a still camera and then I have the video camera, and I'm very methodical about what I film on our hikes. I
Yes.
don't just GoPro the whole thing
Oh
because
no, because then you want to kill yourself in editing. It's
right.
so what
But
did
I
I
think
do?
I think there are some hikers and outdoorsmen and women that do the same do that. They just GoPro the whole thing and then they take whatever they get. And I'm just like, "Oh no.
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 From
No,
the
no, I can't do
beginning,
that."
even when I first started learning, even for the 1 minute videos, and Alan says, yeah, it's hard enough to make it through when they're too long. Because you had to sit there and
Yes.
physically watch it back. You have to remember it's going to take just as long to watch it back as it took you to do it.
Right.
So you got to keep that in mind. So I film in clips,
Yes.
and
Yes.
then I can go through, and then even then I'm still cutting stuff out of the clips. But if
Right.
I'm doing a
Well, and
tutorial, then it's got some idea to it. And no, I don't have to film the entire, let's say I'm blending something, I don't have to film the entire time, especially if it's going to take a really long time,
right.
because it's the same motion. It just gets,
Sure.
a little obnoxious. And certain times I'll say to myself when I'm filming, I'll be like, okay, I'm going to hate myself when I go to edit
Right.
this. But
Yes.
yeah, and I'm going to start doing vlogs soon in New York City when it's cool enough. And
Oh, can't wait for that.
yeah, it's fun. And I'm going to do some live ones where you guys get to decide where I go and choose it, just for like an hour or something like that.
That's fun.
And yeah, I thought that would be really fun to get it. So you guys, anybody who hasn't been or anything like that has the perspective. And Enzo and I have some, he can see New York City out his window. He's right across the river. And we have some ideas for some live things around and stuff
Well, for
like that.
people
So that'll
like
be
me
coming
who
too.
won't get to New York City and have never been,
Yeah, see, that's why I
I
thought of it. I thought it would be fun for you
I'm
guys as if you
yeah.
were walking through, okay,
Yeah,
where do I go now?
I would be very excited about that because I don't I hate crowds, and
Hmm.
B, I hate skyscrapers. Don't ask. It's a weird story, but or not even a weird story. It's just a stupid thing in my own brain. They're tall and I'm not. And I can't see over, around, they just go on forever. And so anyway, it's a weird
Yeah,
thing.
it
But
seems like some of them do. Yeah,
I
it's
I
not for everybody.
I
It's
am
it's
not a
not for
city.
everybody.
And I deal much better with trees.
I
Trees
love
and
both.
trails.
I love outside and my cabins and whatnot and all that kind of stuff. I used to hike with my dad growing up. He used to hike through the Sierra Nevadas and go camping when he was growing up and in college. And beautiful. He's got some. I will now. I have them. He passed, but I have beautiful pictures and stuff like that. But there's also I do love cities, and there's New York. There's something about it. Even though I'm from Santa Barbara, California, there's this energy in New York that the train station's 5 minutes from my house. Doesn't take long to get into the city. You step into it, and for some reason, it gives me energy. I actually feel better when I'm there. And we have a game that we play. How fast can we get through Times Square during the holidays? And
Oh,
it's almost like a dance. It's this silly little game.
that's me in malls.
Yeah,
Anytime I have to go to the mall.
yeah. How fast can I
How,
go through? Yeah, I'm
yeah.
not a fan of malls. No, I
And
don't
that's
like
what,
them.
yeah. Oh, hey, did you know that I've been doing this Forest Park series on our channel? It's on Tuesdays. But
Oh,
Forest Park is St. Louis's Central Park, only it's bigger than Central Park.
because Central Park is huge. I've
Uh,
flown over it. The first time I flew a plane, I was flying around Central Park
oh, wow.
and the Statue of Liberty. I made my first right bank around the Statue of Liberty. So
Yeah. Wow.
wow, I would love to see that.
So yeah, Forest Park is really awesome. And everything's free. It's amazing. We have an
Wow.
art museum. It's free. We have the Missouri History Museum. It's free. We have the zoo, which is there's every animal you can think of. We don't have panda bears, sorry, but we have lots and lots of animals in our zoo. It's free to get in. I go and walk around the zoo in the middle of the morning. There's nobody there. You can see the bears running all over. We have a polar bear. It's
Oh, I
amazing.
love that.
And yeah, so Central Park's huge, but we've got 100 more acres. Sorry, St. Louis wins.
Wow.
Woo. Anyway, but everything's free in Forest Park. It's
Then
really
it's not
amazing.
New York.
Yeah, it's not New York. Yeah, I understand. We have the boathouse. So Matt and I just went to the boathouse for a festival this last weekend, and that's the newest video in the series. But the boathouse charges you to take out the boats. You can't just take the boats out for free, but that's all right. Anyway,
That's
yeah,
very
free
reasonable.
zoo. It's just amazing. We did the stingray exhibit this year, and it costs $4 to get in and pet stingrays for as long as you want.
Wow. Yeah, we're
It
just kind of
really is.
used to it here because we also where I used to live before this house was kind of like right in the middle between Philly and New York. I mean, I can still get to Philadelphia very quickly, just not as fast as New York.
Okay.
And both places, it's I guess we're just kind of used to it. It's an expensive area and you go into the city and it goes through through the roof, but it is fantastic. But I'd like to see that. It's St. Louis is actually one place I have not been, and I used to travel a lot. So that would,
Okay. Well,
yeah,
you're gonna
Rachel
fly.
Vole said I would love to go to St. Louis.
I'll pick you up. We'll go to the Arch, and then we'll go to Forest Park, and then we'll have a blast. It'll
Oh,
be
I
so
would
fun.
love
And
to.
they have a science center. It's free. It's free.
I
I'm
love
telling
that.
you. You
Oh,
can go in and you can do little experiments and you can see the dinosaur models and they have a planetarium. Planetarium's not free, but it likes $5 for an afternoon show.
Oh, that's
I mean,
nothing.
it's
I
I
would
mean,
love that.
yeah. We're trying to get, Matt and I are trying to get there's a conservancy for Forest Park called Forest Park Forever, and we're trying to get a fundraiser going for them. That'll be coming soon, and I'll let you know when it is so you can announce it. But it's
Yeah,
really,
definitely. I
really
would love
awesome.
to announce that.
It's an amazing, amazing place. And St. Louis, it's a St. Louis City Park, and they really take care of it. And it's probably the gem of St. Louis, and half of the world doesn't even know about it, and they so should. Don't come and ruin it now, but
No,
it's amazing.
that's fantastic. TK Knowles, thank you so much for coming
Oh,
by.
thanks for
And
coming,
you guys,
TK.
remember to check her out. She's also on Instagram. In fact, I think I knew her on Instagram before I knew her on YouTube. But yeah, and Rachel says planetariums are my love. They're so
Oh.
romantic. They are. I remember I've always loved them since I was a kid. I'm a book junkie. I guess they call them tree books now, although I always have Kindle on my phone.
Mhm.
I can't go anywhere without a book, but we have a huge section on astronomy and all that, and collected some beautiful books. But actually getting to go to the planetarium and stuff like that is wonderful.
Mm.
Rachel says, "Don't come and ruin it." She's laughing.
I'm like, okay, if you want to come, great. I'd love to have you. Don't ruin it.
Yeah.
Don't ruin it. It's amazing. It's a really amazing place, and we've had an amazing time. Just Matt and I've learned so much about it in the last couple months, just going and visiting. And we even have the Muni in Forest Park. It's municipal theater. You can
Oh,
go for
cool.
free. Now, they do have paid tickets, but like Bob Hope performed there. I mean,
Sweet.
big names have come and performed on the stage at the Muni. And like this year it was their 100th season. So they did The Little Mermaid, they did Meet Me in St. Louis. There's just been so much. I'm just excited. Can you tell? All right.
Yeah,
Anyway,
well, I would be excited too. Rachel says in New York City they have a thing where you pay to sleep in the planetarium.
okay.
I just don't trust it. No, me neither. It would be cool if I could buy it for the night, but I know what that would cost. But I don't want to sleep in there with other people. That's freaky.
Yeah. They
And
have
as for
a
W
sleep at
James,
the Oh,
yeah,
sorry, go ahead.
it's okay. He says we need to make New York City aware of those freebies. New York is expensive, but well worth it. Yeah, and there's actually in New York free days for a lot of things. If you are a New York State resident or sometimes a New Jersey resident, and like the Bronx Zoo has, I think, a free admission day, and a lot of the museums, but they don't advertise it. You got to go and check it out, because a lot of things people do with on the tourist sites for New York is companies will come and buy this one pass ticket. You get to go to this place, this place, this place, this place for this price, and it's reduced. But if you do your homework, or you're a New Yorker or a New Jersey, well, yeah, you can get that if you just go directly to the site and look a little bit. So
Right.
anybody coming to New York, you can either Rachel or me or Enzo, we can help you out. And hey, Patsy, how are you? Or, definitely check a little bit. Don't just go for the easy route, because they will get you in New York.
We have actually tonight, and I'm missing it, but I wouldn't go anyway because it's a total weeknight. But tonight, the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra, Emmy-winning, blah blah blah, St. Louis Orchestra is performing a free concert in the middle of Forest Park. So yeah, it's just
fantastic.
it would be awesome. So yeah, it's a great concert. A lot of my friends go, and you can bring your dogs or whatever, and just go sit on Art Hill and listen to the symphony play. So that's awesome. Need to go there, but you won't ruin it. Okay, if you guys come, you have to holler at me and let me know that you're coming, and Matt and I will meet you for a beer first, or we'll go to Forest Park. Yes, it'll be fun.
That would be fun. Yeah, definitely. If I could, yeah, I'm definitely going to tell you I go there. I will definitely make it there at some point. Definitely. Okay. So, we told you about everything else, and we're coming up on 2 hours, and I know I don't want to keep Kate too long, but I do want to hear a little bit about her hiking. is she is Happy
My
Trails
favorite.
Hiking.
Yes.
And but I wanted you guys to learn all this other cool stuff that I found out about her.
Oh,
And it was really neat. I was super excited. I was like, and I love all of your episodes. I'm not saying that. Nobody's take offense. I love you all. It's always cool, and this is why I started the show, is because of all the neat things you find out when you're talking with someone, and you're like, oh
sure.
wow, that's so cool. So as for your hiking, I'd love to hear a bit about that and some of your favorite places you've gone and stuff like that.
All right. Well, wow, I could cover another hour with all
I
this.
know.
So,
Yeah,
Matt
I
and
didn't
I.
worry about covering time with you at all. Just for you
So,
guys to know, we kept saying when we were in the pre-interview video call, okay, we're gonna go now. And then we keep talking.
right,
Okay, we're gonna go now, and we keep talking. So yeah.
right. It
And when
was
I
bad.
said on Twitter that I could fill like 8 hours, 8 shows with Kay, I could. I was not exaggerating at all.
We had a good time. I
Yes, we
wasn't
did.
worried about it at all. But so for hiking, I didn't really hike when I was a kid. I wasn't in like Girl Scouts or I was in 4-H, but we had a very indoor 4-H group. But
That's
anyway,
funny that you say that. I was in Girl Scouts and Brownies, but I don't think we went hiking.
you didn't get those hiking merit badges. Okay. But
Yeah, I don't know why. I did
Matt
with my dad in the same area. That's a little odd. Go ahead, please.
Funny, no problem. Matt is a scout and he's an Eagle Scout, and he went to Philmont, which is a scout ranch out in New Mexico, and did that when he was in high school. And he really fell in love with hiking and backpacking then. And so when we got together back in whatever 95 or 96, he started taking me outside. It was a cheap date. We didn't have any money.
Yeah.
So it was a cheap date, and we'd go to state parks or whatever, and we go hiking. And so we just kind of,
That's really smart.
well, thanks.
It's a beautiful date.
Well, yeah, and we just would get outside. We'd get outside and walk, and we learned a lot about each other while we were walking.
Right.
Because what do you do when you walk? You walk and you talk, or you walk and you think.
Yeah.
And so even if we weren't talking, we were thinking about things, and then all of a sudden one or the other of us would say, what are you thinking about? And so we would share that, and then we get to know each other a lot better. Anyway,
And
so
what else is really cool about that is one of the things about dating people and stuff like that I've always said is I want somebody that I can talk to, but even more importantly, somebody that I am comfortable in silence with.
yes. Yeah, Matt and I, learned we don't have to talk. And that's been
Right.
a hard thing for me because I talk all the time, which makes me a great content creator. But anyway, so I don't know, about the time we moved, well, we've moved around a lot in our married life, I guess. Matt went back for grad school again. But we didn't have anything to do other than to be outside in the small town that we were in, and in the small college town that we were in. And so we would go out and we would start hiking. And when we moved back here to St. Louis, that was our release. That was the place where we found our spot, our home, our peace.
Oh,
And
that's
we
wonderful.
well, I hate the city. I mean, when I say I hate skyscrapers, I just hate crowds. I don't like the sirens that go off in the middle of the night. We have a fire station 2 blocks over that way. You just can't get away from it. There's just traffic everywhere, and
It's interesting. One of my favorite places in New York is when you go into Central Park, the side that's near the Plaza Hotel. There actually are silent places in New York if you know where they are, and I know Enzo and Rachel know what I'm talking about. And there's a spot over by the zoo, just past coming up by that little pond going towards the ice rink, that me and one of my family members, it's our favorite place, especially when it's snowing, because the snow is all around you. You're in the trees and whatnot, but you can see right about 5 o'clock when it's in the middle of winter and it's snowing, the sun's going down, and you can see all the old buildings. There's a lot of historical buildings around there, and it's absolutely beautiful, and it's quiet. And you can see all the people making noise, but it's almost like being in this like magical snowball bubble.
fun.
It's all those little places that people that are tourists don't realize, but it's
Right.
really cool. But go ahead.
Well, to make a long story, a very long story, extra short, we used to put on Facebook, on my personal Facebook page, my view of the weekend. So we would have, I don't know, I'd have pictures of us hiking and in the outdoors, and all of my friends would say, "I just love your life." And I'm like, go out and do it. You don't have to sit in your house and play video games or watch movies. Go out and do it. Anyway,
Yeah.
but at some point, and I don't even know what point, Man and I found a love for our national and state and local parks. And
Yes.
when um
One of my favorite
it,
trips as a kid was to Yosemite.
in 2016 they were doing the national parks 100th anniversary, so we really got into that. And by that point in time, the national parks were doing well, they have those passport books. I got a passport book, and they were, I don't know, I just got really excited, and
Mhm.
I'd seen enough of it, and I don't know, people were saying you should start a YouTube channel. So I did. And I've been creating content since 2016 on either state, national, or our local city parks. And at this point in California, we've covered we've covered a bunch of the national parks. We've been to Yosemite a couple times. We've been to the Redwoods. We've been to,
Yes, they are so awesome. My
aren't they
favorite
beautiful?
trip was when I was 8. It was, oh, they're so cool. Oh my gosh. And you guys, until you actually physically are there, pictures and video are wonderful, but
Mhm.
physically being there is like
Right.
you've got to experience it.
Yes. Yosemite, Kings Canyon, and Sequoia we went to. And that was before we were really, really hiking, because we would, if we were to go back, Mount Whitney would be on the list. We would have to. We found Death Valley in
Yes.
March of 2017. And I think I have more videos from Death Valley than I do at just about any other park. We went back last year at Christmas. Our anniversary is around Christmas time, and in that winter
Ah.
break. And so we went back for our anniversary trip this year. So we actually, in 2017, we saw Death Valley twice. We saw it in March and then in December. And it is the most magical place that you would never expect. I expect Yellowstone to be magical. I've been there 5 times, and I see something different every single time I go to Yellowstone. But I
Mhm.
did not expect magic from Death Valley. I thought it was going to be a weekend visit. Thank you very much, and we'll see you later. But
It's
it is a
really something.
place, and if you just think of Death Valley as a hole in the desert, you're wrong. And I'm
I
ever
agree.
so happy that it is protected and preserved for future generations, because what that's what it needs to be. It's definitely deserving of national park status. We've hit the Utah national parks, not all of them. We've gone to Zion and Bryce. My favorite hike was a 17-mile hike in Zion National Park. We started and did the East Rim Trail from the
Oh,
east
cool.
entrance all the way down to into the canyon. So it was a 17-mile hike. We did add it's an 11-mile hike, but we added a spur out to Cable Mountain,
Hmm.
which is a very historic spot in Zion. And then we went all the way back down and did all the switchbacks down into Weeping Rock area, and then took the shuttle back to our car. So it was a
Oh, wow.
fantastic hike. And we got to spend the whole day together. We saw less than 10 people and 3 horses. So it was fairly awesome. Oh,
Oh,
man.
that's great to have horses too. That's
Ah,
fantastic.
I didn't
We
I
used to
didn't
go.
but
Oh yeah, I grew up riding. We used to go on Appalachian Trail, the Blue
oh,
Trail in Connecticut a lot. I lived in Connecticut for a while, and part of it actually went right behind my boyfriend's house.
oh
So
wow.
we used to go on that quite a bit. Just
Matt and I
go,
have spent a lot
into the
of time
woods.
southeast with Great Smoky Mountain National Park and things like that as well. We've tried to cover the Midwest National Parks, so Cuyahoga Valley National Park, as well as, like, last fall we went and did Indiana Dunes National Lake Shore.
Oh
So we like
wow.
to see our national parks, and of course I'm doing the Forest Park series now, so it's a local city park.
Mm-hmm.
We cover our county parks out here in the county that we live in, and we really
Yeah,
enjoy those.
that's one thing
So
I have to say. The county parks in the county that I live in are absolutely phenomenal with just how nice they are and the amount of things available. And there's actually one that has this resource center with all the natural rocks and resources, and they make it hands-on for the children to go in, and it's open every day and free. And the amount of stuff that is free in this county and the parks that you can go to, and they even have a backpacking thing where they will give you a backpack to use if you don't
amazing.
have anything,
Really very good.
and and a trail and the things that you need in it, and a map for, starting hiking or children that want to get interested in it. So yeah, I encourage, you guys check out your county things, because sometimes you can have some really neat things in your
Yeah.
county and not even know it.
And in your city for that matter.
But true, very true.
Matt has emerged from his work, and so I hate to cut this off.
Oh, no, that's
But
okay.
I
I
really
knew,
do
I
want to go
understood.
spend some time with Matt before it's time for us to retire for the evening. I did want to introduce you all to Trekker. This is our turtle, and he rides in my backpack, and that's why we have a turtle as our avatar. On YouTube and everything, we kept
That's
finding
like
turtles.
Enzo's Teddy. Enzo
Yes,
has Teddy.
Teddy and Trekker should meet sometime. I'm just saying.
This
So
is true. They'll have to do something together. Yeah, when I was, I promised her it would be only 2 hours. We weren't going past. She does have a limited amount of time, but
sorry, guys. Thank you so much for having me. This has been awesome.
thank you so much for coming. I was so excited to hear everything about it. And anytime, love to have you back again. And it's like I said, you have so many things to talk about and stories to tell and whatnot. And I can tell the audience has truly enjoyed it. They've been going along. Enzo says, oh my God, you had to mention Teddy.
Enzo, I met Teddy on the adult show.
Oh, when I had
It was not a problem. I already knew Teddy.
You
will
were
not meet Teddy in that scenario.
no, and you were a gentleman when I dared you to seduce Teddy. Although I think it was the funniest thing that after he kissed Teddy, that the little Teddy was stuck on his chin. Yeah, the adult version doesn't get that bad. At least I tried to keep mine like reasonable, and people were very good about it. So everybody, thank you for coming, and thank you, Kay, for coming. I really enjoyed the pre-interview. I really enjoyed the show, and like I said, love to have you back anytime to hear more about it. And please, any announcements you need, you have my email, whatnot. And if I'm coming to St. Louis, I will definitely be contacting you guys. I think we would have a wonderful time.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having me on, and I look forward to having people come in for the 30-day health challenge. Just stop by anytime.
Absolutely, guys. Hey, take advantage of it. Go check it out, get a part of it, and everything else like that. And I may well be mentioning it with Feeling Better with Borgia. When I'm talking about certain things, if Kay's talking about certain things, I may well reference her and say, hey, I'm talking about it. Hey, you can go over there and do what I'm talking about. So have a wonderful Wednesday evening. Enjoy, take good care of yourself. Thank you to everybody. Love you all so much. Good night.
Good day,
Lady
everybody.
Borgia.